Hurry up with those dishes or you won't get any food tomorrow, my mom shouted while adding a pile of dirty plates on top of the pile I was already washing. I was only 10 years old, but the chores at home felt like a full-time job. I did the laundry, swept, mopped, cleaned the toilets, made everybody's beds, and took care of our pets. My younger brother and sister never helped. In fact, they never had to. My mom never asked them to, and my dad was never in the picture. I didn't know who or where he was. This is how life had always been for me, and I was never sure why. Before I continue, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. If you do that now, you'll never be as sad as I was. My brother and sister were treated like royalty compared to me. They both had beautiful bedrooms, but I had to sleep on a mattress on the kitchen floor. I wasn't even allowed to sleep on the couch in the living room. My mom paid for my siblings to be part of all kinds of extracurricular activities. My sister did ballet, gymnastics, and crafts, while my brother did karate and played football. I regret even having to send you to school. I only do so because I don't want to go to jail. You're ugly, useless, and a total waste of my time and money, my mom would tell me over and over again. She never showed me any love or warmth. Birthdays and Christmases were just like any other days. I spent them cleaning up after my family. My life took a drastic turn when I left elementary school and entered middle school. My English teacher, Miss Johnson, noticed that something was wrong. One afternoon after class, she asked me to stay back for a while. Chelsea, I'd like to ask you a personal question, but you don't have to answer if it makes you uncomfortable, she said. Sure. What is it? I answered. Is everything okay at home? She asked. Yes, I replied. I didn't know what okay really meant anyway. Everything seemed normal at home. This was just what I was used to. Well, I noticed that sometimes you're untidy and you're always wearing the same clothes. You also seem sad most of the time. I've never seen you smile, she said. Everything is fine, Miss Johnson, I said while bowing my head. Okay, well, get home safely, she replied and left the room. I spent some time in the library before going home. I had a project to finish and I wasn't allowed to use the internet at home, so I decided to do my research there. When I got home, my mom was waiting at the door with a belt. Where have you been? She screamed. I went to the library to finish some research, I replied quietly. She hit me on my arm with the belt, then continued screaming about why I bothered to do projects when I knew I was dumb and would amount to nothing. I tried to hide my tears and went to complete my chores. Suddenly, we heard a knock on the door. My little sister ran to open it. Chelsea, I think it's for you, she said. I went to the door and Miss Johnson was standing there. Hi, Chelsea. I decided to pay you a surprise visit. I'd like to talk to your mom. Wow, what a beautiful house you have, she said. Please come in. I'll get my mom, I replied. She followed me to the kitchen. Why do you have a mattress on the floor in the kitchen? She asked. This is where I sleep, I replied. What is that mark on your arm? She gasped. At that moment, my mom barged in. Who the hell do you think you are, coming into my house and asking questions? Who do you work for? She screamed. Miss Johnson was so angry that she walked out of the house. My mom was angry with me too, and she made me sleep outside that night. She threw my mattress outside and told me I could sleep with the dogs. Why did she hate me so much? The next few weeks were crazy. Miss Johnson contacted the authorities who investigated my mom. They concluded that I was neglected, and I was taken away and placed into foster care. I was very lucky because my foster family was amazing. I had a new mom, dad, and 3 siblings. I had my own room and I never had any chores to do. My new parents always told me that I was intelligent and beautiful and that I could be anything I wanted. No one had ever said that to me before. The next few years were more beautiful than anything I could have ever imagined. For birthdays, I received gifts and cake and had real celebrations. I finally got presents under the tree on Christmas Day. We even went on awesome family vacations to Hawaii and my favorite, Disneyland. My new parents also allowed me to be a part of anything I found interesting. I'd always wanted to try figure skating, so when I told them about this idea, they enrolled me in a class right away. At first, I was really bad at it, but after lots of practice, I became one of the best on my team. On the ice, I felt so free and at peace. I was able to forget everything awful that had happened in my life, and I just felt pure bliss. I trained really hard, and after a few years, my coach decided that I had so much potential that he was sure I'd be able to make it to the Olympics someday. This became my biggest dream. I was happy, but I still had some uncomfortable thoughts about my past. I never met my father, and I had no idea who he was. One day while watching Unsolved Mysteries on television, I was inspired to contact a private investigation service to see if they could help me find him. He had to be around somewhere. Maybe I could meet him. I searched online and found an investigation company almost instantly. I explained my situation to them and they asked me to come to their office the next day. The next day, instead of going to school, I went to their office, hoping my foster mom and dad would not find out. They asked for some personal information and requested half of the payment before the investigation. The other half would be given to them when they provided me with the results. It took weeks, but one afternoon, I finally got the call I had been waiting for. Miss Chelsea? The voice on the other end said. Yes, I replied. We found your father, the investigator said. My heart jumped. Well, where is he? I asked. His name is Thomas, but he's in prison in Peru. It's not just that. We found out some more shocking news, he said. What? I asked. Well, the woman you believe to be your mother really isn't. Your father was married to the woman who raised and mistreated you, but you're the child of a woman he had an affair with. Her name is Laura, and she lives in New Caledonia, all the way in the South Pacific. After you were born, your father's wife threatened to kill her, so she fled the country and left you behind, he said. It all made sense to me now. This was why she treated me so cruelly. She wasn't my real mother. I asked the investigator to find a way for me to contact her. A few days later, he called back with her information. He gave me her Skype name and a regular phone number. I decided to use Skype because I wanted to see her face. Before I called her, I thought that I should tell my foster parents the truth. I really didn't like keeping secrets from them. I called everyone to a family meeting in the living room and explained that I had found out the truth about my family. My little brother started crying. Does that mean you're going to leave us? He said. Yeah, are you gonna go away forever? My little sister added. No, you are my family. I just want to know more about my real mother. It will help me to find out more about myself, I said. I want you to know that we support your decisions, and we will help you all the way. You're not alone in this. We understand, said my dad. I felt relieved that he understood and was willing to support me. When I got back to my room, I added my biological mom's name to my Skype contacts. She was online. I clicked call and it rang for about 10 seconds. Then someone picked up. Hey, is this another person trying to catfish me? I'm tired of telling you people I don't have any money, she said, sounding a bit irritated. Hi. No, my name is Chelsea. I found out your information from a private investigator, I replied. She squinted at the screen and then her jaw dropped and she opened her eyes widely. Oh my God. Oh my goodness, it's you! My baby girl! I haven't seen you since the day you were born. Oh, how did you find me? Are you safe? Where is that witch? Did she hurt you? Oh, my baby girl! She said and started crying. I'm fine. She actually treated me horribly, but I was taken away and I'm with a nice family now, I said. You're in foster care? She exclaimed. We spoke for hours. I told her all about my life and how it had turned around for the better. At the end of the conversation, she asked me if I would come to spend a few days with her in New Caledonia. I agreed because I really wanted to meet her in person, and I knew my foster parents would allow me to go. Days later, I said goodbye to my foster parents at the airport and flew away. I felt like the journey took forever, and I felt relieved when the plane finally landed on the beautiful island which looked like an emerald surrounded by shiny turquoise. When I finally made it through security, I looked around for my mom. I could see many people holding up signs, but none of them had my name. After walking around frantically for about 10 minutes, I was ready to break down into tears. Suddenly, I heard an air horn and a loud voice screaming, Chelsea! Chelsea, we're here to get you! I turned towards the noises and saw my mother and 5 little kids who were jumping up excitedly. She ran towards me and gave me a big hug. I'm so sorry I'm late. It took a while to get all these kids ready, she said. Wow, you look so alike, one of the kids said. Who are all these kids? I asked. I forgot to mention that I run a home for abandoned children here. There are about 30, and many of them are orphans or children whose parents just don't care enough about them. I went into social work because it helped me fill the void that I felt when I lost you, she said while a tear trickled down her cheek. We went back to the house, and although it wasn't very luxurious, there was a lot of warmth and happiness. I spent many days helping the workers with the children who adored me. They were cute and so much fun to be around. I was also able to spend a lot of time with my mom. We walked along the beaches every afternoon, and she took me to many neat spots on the island. Although I had a foster mom who cared about me a lot, nothing compared to the feeling of having my biological mom around to nurture and care for me. After a few days, she asked me if I would consider staying with her. Although I would have loved to, I didn't want to give up on my dreams of becoming a figure skater. The island had no figure skating rinks, so staying with my mom would mean that I'd never be able to achieve my goal of someday making it to the Olympics. I promised to visit, though. Thankfully, she understood, and although I went back to my foster parents, we had created an unbreakable bond.